Another exciting episode of the AMATYMA series in partnership with Bogart Radio. I'm loving the conversations that we're having with these different men, because we get to also learn so much from them, and, we're imparting knowledge amongst ourselves as men. It's so nice to sit with MJITA and just speak. There's no alcohol, there's no party, there's no noise. It's sober-minded conversations with men who really want to promote goodness out there. Whether you're a father, whether you're a brother, whether you're an uncle, it doesn't matter. We're building a society of good men. And with me in studio, I've got Joshua Mtanyelwa, who's the empowerment spokesperson, and Martin Pedlers, who is representing Matrix Men. Gentlemen, how are you?
We're okay.
Martin, how are you?
Oh, good, man.
All good. It's good to have you guys. For those that don't know who you guys are, can you briefly introduce yourself and the organizations you both represent?
Yeah, as you said, my name is Joshua. I'm a spokesman for the Empowerment.
Yeah.
It's an organization that we say this redefine modern masculinity.
Okay.
Yeah, so creating a space for conversation, open conversation, non-judgmental space for men to talk about issues, because it has been said that men don't talk, but we're creating that space for men.
How long has empowerment been running?
Since 2019.
2019.
Yeah, it's been growing. Last year we had about 2,500 men.
Right.
So this year we're going for 3,500 men, where we'll have those and very great speakers that will.
I'm one of them. I'll be there.
Yeah.
I love what you guys are doing. I subscribe to what you guys are doing because a lot of people think that when you have these organizations that focus on men, there's competition. There's no competition here. We are all serving a purpose here. So whether it's through AMATYMA, whether it's through Empowerment, whether it's through Matrix Men, the more the merrier, in fact, because the issues are so wide that you can't just subject it to one brand that's trying to push this. So welcome, Joshua.
Thank you so much.
Martin, how are you?
Good, and you?
Awesome. What's Matrix Men?
We're just a bunch of crazy oaks.
You're crazy.
So we started in 2011, and our focus at the time was to support men that had been through sexual abuse as children.
Okay.
And everybody goes, but that doesn't happen, but it does. In fact, there's more boys sexually abused in South Africa than girls. Many people don't actually realize that.
Sure.
And so we help them recover, we help them go through a program, and because unfortunately one of the things with men is they go through trauma, and the way that they deal with it is through 5 things. I always say it's alcohol or addiction, right? Sports, sex, and silence is another one, and anger is a big one. So
sure.
The guys, because we haven't been given the skills to talk about things,
right?
It's always it's a weird thing. We like men must just be tough and suck it up and move on with life and all that sort of thing, and we don't give them skills to be able to talk about things openly. And unfortunately, the ones that the society realizes are the anger, the addiction, and those are the things they focus on. And we get these brand names like toxic masculinity, and one thing we say, we're reshaping masculinity. I don't think we need to reshape masculinity. Masculinity as a construct is actually wonderful.
Yeah, positive masculinity is a good thing.
It's a good thing, you know what I mean? And so we don't need to reinvent masculinity. In fact, we need more masculinity in our country.
I agree.
So, and we just help men recover. But over the last 2-3 years, we've made a decision to focus on men's mental health.
Okay.
Because we're realizing that trauma. So, you grow up in a home where you don't have a father. That's a type of trauma. You grow up in a home in poverty. That's a type of trauma. You grow up in a home where your mother has to provide everything and she doesn't manage, and she often resorts to violence to kind of control the masculine in you, you know. So that's a type of trauma, you know. So there's so many different types of trauma, and men don't realize that. And we grow up with this inbred anger because we don't know how else to express it.
Childhood traumas.
Exactly.
Sure. I love what you guys do. So it's called Matrix Men. Why Matrix?
It's not the Keanu Reeves thing, right? It's not.
Shout out to the Matrix.
It's not that. I was like, in fact, my ex, listening to the previous interviews, like my ex came up with the name, and I'm stuck with it now.
Right.
But actually, in geology, there's a matrix. I don't know if you walk past these like shoe shops and you see those rocks in in the entrance, and they've broken them open. Now the rock on the outside is like this black, hard, impenetrable kind of shell.
Yeah.
But when you break it open, inside there's all these gems, and that's what an
Sure.
abused man is like. He forms this hard outer shell,
But inside is broken.
when we can get to him and break him open
scarred.
and help him, he's like a gem. He's amazing. You know,
He's
there's
scarred.
nothing better than a healed man. You know, and I think the
Sure.
previous guest was
The classic example of a
classic
healed
example. A guy who's
Yeah.
fighting for his child in his life. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
a healed man. And
Sure.
That's awesome, and that's what we're aiming at.
Shout out to what you guys are doing, and I love the fact that you guys have got a very specific and particular focus to mental wellness. So I run a network called AMATYMA Wellness Network, and we focus on 3 pillars of wellness: physical wellness, so looking after yourself, eating right, exercising, things that men don't really like to talk about. You know, going to gym, exercising. People think that being healthy means you must go to gym. You can take a walk, you can hike, you can jog. And then we focus on mental wellness as our second pillar. Obviously, we talk about issues like anxiety, depression, what men also don't want to talk about, especially black men. Depression is something that we've been told is a white concept.
White disease.
Yeah, it's a white disease.
Yeah,
It's
white
not
man's
us.
problem.
Yeah, it's a white man problem. Like
Yeah.
white men can't jump, you know? You remember that movie, White Men Can't Jump?
Never mind,
In
dance.
my case, it's true.
Shout out to you. And then the last pillar of wellness we focus on is financial wellness. Men don't like to talk about money. Men don't like to talk about financial well-being. You know, we have a lot of cases, especially in the black community, when a man passes on, everyone fights for his assets or
Yeah,
what he had.
yeah.
And that's because there was not enough financial literacy around his finances. You know, he didn't plan properly, he didn't leave a will. You'll be surprised at how many men don't even have something as simple as a will.
Yeah.
You know, you take that for granted. Let's get into the conversation. There's an upcoming event on the 20th of April.
Yeah.
It's called Empowerment Summit.
Yeah.
What is that event about? This is your second annual one, isn't it?
Yeah, this is our second hour. This event is really about bringing all kind of men in one space.
Right.
But we have the main stage. We'll have different topics but also we're going to have breakaways where men will be able to ask questions, will engage. It depends on what you want to go to. We're talking about a man and his family, men and money, men and mental health, men and health, and we will also be talking on the issues of a boy child. The issue of a boy child is no longer a political issue or a sex issue. It's an endemic issue. Yeah, because
It's a country issue.
Yeah, it's a country issue.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, today, 88 people will be murdered. 77 of those will be men.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So, but if we don't focus on men, then we are doomed. So, with the empowerment, so we'll be having different speakers that will be speaking to men, the issue of consent.
Right.
So that we may know how far do you take the issue of consent, because sometimes it can be given, it can be withdrawn. As a man, you don't know that, but find yourself having a 15-year sentence jail because you didn't check the lines.
Sure. So this is your second annual summit. What is different about this year that you guys didn't do last year? So what I'm asking is, if I attended this event last year, what is different? Why would I come back a year later as a man?
I think last year was kind of bringing awareness.
Okay.
Yeah, but this year we're getting deeper. And so what are the solution? But also bringing partners that will say, if it's issue of mental illness, there will be organization that deals with that. Matrix Man.
Right.
Yeah, and others, SADC, that will says to men, here the solution. Last year was just saying, here we are.
Okay.
In the
Now we're
biggest
getting into the issues.
Issues, yes.
Okay.
And dig deeper into the issues,
You want to say something then?
Yeah, I think last year was more about highlighting all the problems that men go through. This year, I think they're focusing on trying to deal with them, which is a great move, because we need to give resources to guys. It's always interesting because listening to your previous guest,
Dumisho Masha.
Dumisho.
Shout out to him.
Sorry, old brain. I need to hear the name 10 times before I remember, right? But anyway, he's talking about and it's interesting because in a court of law, a father has to prove that he's a good father.
And the mother
So
never needs
mother
to,
never
right?
has to, right?
Even if she's not a good mother.
Exactly. Mother has to. So if a father's been abused by his wife, which happens a lot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just, I think in the States they're looking at 50% of men have suffered violent abuse in their own homes, right? And we usually find it's a reciprocal thing. So she instigates and eventually he retaliates. And that's how it goes, you know? But we only focused on one thing. So when a guy goes to court and he says, hey, my wife used to beat me, man, if you haven't got video footage, bro, you're done.
They look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah, like you're mad, you know? You can't go to a police station and, hey, my wife's beating me. They're going to laugh at you and say, hey, let me take you home. I'll show you how to take care of your wife.
Yeah.
And then the minute you do what they recommend you do, then they'll be the first people there to arrest you and throw you away, you know? The same with rape, the same with all of these issues that men go through. We always have to prove our innocence, whereas women just get away with it. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So we need to kind of empower men to be able to talk about these things and find help and support and all that sort of stuff. And mostly to let them know, because like guys that have been sexually abused as children, they don't know. They always think they're alone.
Sure.
I'm the only one, you know, and you're not.
Yeah. Until you hear it from other men who have gone through a similar or even worse off
Exactly.
ordeal.
You know, and I often talk to guys and I say, listen, you know that almost 44% of all men have been sexually abused by age of 18. That's nearly half the male population of this country.
44%.
Yeah.
Yo.
You know, it's a lot. And
That
then
is
you go,
scary.
well, like, oh, no man ever raped me. And I go, yeah, but did your caregiver rape you? Or did your babysitter rape you? Or did your teacher rape you? And we don't see that as rape. You know, we go like, hey, I was 13, she was 40. You know, it was cool.
Yeah.
This is apparently
There's an adult.
amazing.
Yeah.
This amazing experience that I was supposed to have.
There's
had.
nothing amazing about that.
Nothing.
Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to this particular event. In fact, we're going to come through and broadcast as the AMATYMA series in partnership with Bogart Radio. Yeah, when I also have conversations with some of the men who are attending the event, we want to obviously get to understand why are they there. Because the truth of the matter is we've hosted quite a lot of events as well. And what we've noticed is that men don't like to invest in themselves. If you put a price tag to an event, even if you say 100 rands, they'll take that 100 and rather go to a bar and drink it or whatever. So we have to relearn a lot of things. If you look at what happens around Women's Day, there's high teas. Women pay 1,500, 3,000 to attend an event with speakers. You try to pull it together with men. Good luck. Good luck.
But even sponsors, the sponsors, they don't sponsor men's event.
Absolutely. Brands and corporates don't, and we struggle with that. They don't sponsor events that are focused on men and boys, but they'll throw money into a women's day. They'll throw money into Take a Girl Child, which is important. We're not taking that away from them.
No.
But what happens to the boy child?
Exactly.
The man.
Yeah.
You know, I had a boy come up to me, 16 years old, and he said to me, there's no hope for boys in this country.
Sure.
Now, I mean, being raised without hope, I mean, that's just like, you know what I mean?
We're raising a hopeless society.
Yeah, exactly. And I said to him, why? He says, because everything is done for women and girls. Take a girl child to work. It's
Women's Day. It's Mother's Day. It's
It's
International Women's
Month.
Day.
Valentine's
What else is there? What else is there?
All of them.
All of them.
All of them.
And even Valentine's Day is actually Women's Day. Let's be honest.
It is.
Valentine's Day has got nothing to do with us.
Because the guys are like, yeah, you know, and I'll buy you chocolates and flowers. I know I love you. I don't have to prove it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Where the flowers? It's like
where's the flowers?
Yeah, it's like Valentine's Day. If you look at Valentine's Day as a day, it's about the woman.
Yeah.
I've never seen a post of a woman actually buying flowers or getting a gift or doing a surprise for a guy.
Yeah.
If there is out there, please share it with us, because I've noticed this pattern that every excuse to celebrate women gets used, and
Yes.
there's nothing wrong with that. Let's
cool.
It's cool, but you're leaving us behind. And then when gender-based violence becomes an issue,
Now suddenly you talk about
men are trash.
Yeah.
No, we are trash.
You're right. There's a book called Raising Cain. This book is about saving the soul of a boy child.
Sure.
And this guy talks. It talks about even school is not designed for a boy child.
Right.
How we sit in school,
Sure.
it throws off a boy child.
Meaning educators.
Yeah.
Then.
No. You see, if you see men even in rural areas, how they sit in a cycle.
Right.
Yeah. Even in a stadium.
Right.
The stadium is in it. That's how it attracts more men. Because when you're sitting straight like that, men feels uncomfortable.
Because I can't see what the next man has got.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
But it's not just that.
yeah. The
Carry on.
decorations in the classroom. You
They
know,
affect your
the decoration, they're not masculine, they're feminine. So the boy feels, oh man,
It's not for me.
Yeah, I see the same decoration at home, and I also gonna see it in school.
Okay.
And think about it. He's raised by a single parent, and when he goes to school, the teacher is
it's a female.
it's a female. When he goes to church, the Sunday school teacher is a
Female.
It's a female. So he feels like, why should I be here in this space? So that's why I find a lot of boys, actually, the research shows that boys quit schools at grade 10.
Sure. I've
Yeah,
seen
more
I've seen,
boys-
I've seen those stats.
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. It's scary.
It's scary, yeah.
Because the space for them is feminine.
Sure.
It does not speak to their being of
Their
being-
masculinity.
Yeah.
That what we spoke about earlier
Yeah.
on.
Exactly. You know, and the other thing is my wife and I adopted this little 3-year-old Zulu boy, right? And he's busy, dude.
What's his name?
His name is Mateo Bayanda.
Mateo Bayenda. Wait, how many kids do you have? I didn't even ask you guys this. We just got straight into it.
Yeah. So I got my daughter is she's 25 now, and my only flesh and blood daughter.
Right.
And then I have a grandson and granddaughter.
Right.
And then we've adopted this little boy,
Right.
and we're in the process of adopting a little girl as well.
Nice. Shout out to you as well. 'cause
Thanks, man.
They need the love, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, when you go to those homes and you see those kids, you just want to cry, man. It's scary.
Yeah.
It really is. But the thing is, he's 3, he's busy, man. He's busy. He doesn't stop. He wakes up at 6 in the morning and he's like, Daddy,
He's effervescent.
You know what I mean? And it's only like, and then it kind of escalates from 6 to 7:30 when he needs to go to bed. He gets this crazy cycle and he's busy. Now you take him and you put them in school and you expect him to sit there for 40 minutes.
You
and not
constrain
move.
them. You
Yeah.
constrain them.
I mean, please, what's that guy's going to go mad?
It's a different form of imprisonment if you think about it. Because it's a conditioning,
It's
right?
trying to condition
Yeah.
these boys, and we need to start changing the education system. But more than that, when we start looking at the numbers, man, it's I think, miscorrect me. I think the last time I looked, it was 9.6% literacy rates amongst boys in rural areas. 9.6%.
That is a point.
Okay, when it's like 16 or 70% for girls.
Girls.
When we start looking at entry into university, majority girls.
Of course.
You know?
60% more girls. than
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah, you know,
And
so
then there's this
something's wrong.
Then there's this perception that men are lazy.
Yeah.
Or boys are
Yes.
lazy. They don't finish the race.
Yeah, but also you must know that there are more boys who are admitted in these special schools
Right.
because how they taught them, it makes them feel stupid.
Yeah.
Until you say, let's take
Yeah.
them to a special school, and they'll be there.
And they also get labeled. You go
Yeah.
to a special school, you are labeled.
Yeah.
As less
Yeah,
intelligent than
and
the other kids.
take something like ADHD, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Majority of the victims of or people who have ADHD
Right.
are boys, right? And it's a disorder, but it's not a disorder, man. It's just because you try to
Energy.
squash this little kid into this chair, tell him to shut up for 40
And
minutes,
confine him into this room that's got all these big
all
things.
these
and-
little pictures and things like that, and we're not giving them the space to be creative. Because you think about men, I mean, we're creative, dude.
Extremely. I don't know what school you went to, but when I was in primary school, I was attending school at Mbanza, secondary school in Dieklof. And every Monday, we used to go to a place called Mansfield. It's not far from Ambonya Mall.
Yeah.
We used to do woodwork there.
Yes.
And you'd see the excitement of meeting other boys there and, you know, showcasing what I can build with my hands.
Yes.
That was something special, and that's
Yeah.
gone. There's
No,
nothing like
yeah,
that
for
in
sure.
our educational system, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that saddens me because we are now confining these boys to
Gadgets.
gadgets, into social media,
Yes.
your YouTube and all that. I didn't ask you how many kids you've got.
No.
I don't want to forget.
Okay. Let me tell you how I classify my children.
Yes.
You know, like
Yes.
you have a prepaid, and you have a contract, and you have a top up.
Prepaid contract top up.
Yeah.
Right.
So the prepaid is the one that you get before you get married.
Okay.
So I have a stepdaughter.
Right.
I love her to bits.
Why do you call her stepdaughter?
I don't call her that. Always I call her my daughter. So for people to understand that.
Or the context.
The
Yes. But
context.
she's your daughter. I don't believe in the step thing.
No,
Yeah,
people don't. But let me say, also look at the issue of the step thing.
Yeah.
Somebody was not there. You step in.
You stepped up.
Yeah, you stepped up.
I like that.
You know, like Joseph in the Bible.
I like that.
He stepped
Yeah.
up to take care of Jesus. Jesus was raised by a step
Yeah.
father. Yeah. So this beautiful daughter.
Right.
Then I've got
The contract.
the contract.
Yeah.
I've got 2 boys and twins, which is a girl and a boy.
Shout out to the twins.
Yeah, it's Amukelane and Denzwala.
Beautiful.
Then at that, at the 20th of my marriage, I messed up. Think about it. This pastor and I was good, and he was doing things well. In the 20th of my marriage,
Right.
I impregnated someone outside.
And you're still married.
I'm still married for 27 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that's the top up.
That's the top up. So you've got 6.
6, yeah.
And I want to bring you back for another complete conversation.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that, being a married man and promiscuous. And there's so much to talk about. But today is not about that. Today is really about profiling, the work that you guys do, and the upcoming event. And thank you for sharing that, because most times men always hold back because they're scared of what people are going to say. This whole thing that, what is the world going to say? Are they going to judge me? And a lot of us could learn from such experiences and pay it forward. You know what I'm saying? What are you looking forward to the most in terms of what you are presenting on the day?
I work in a difficult space, right? So when I start talking about numbers and men that are abused and all that sort of stuff, everybody goes like, "Wow, that's shocking," but nobody's brave enough to come and talk to me afterwards.
You intimidate them with the stats.
Also, they sit there thinking like, "I got to talk to somebody about this." Like, no, you must be joking, So
yeah.
It's hard, and quite often I look at my business, or what I do now is sowing seeds. Right. So I sow the seeds now, and in like 3-4 years time, people come back to me and they start talking to me about, "Hey, I saw you 4 years ago at this place or that place." So I've generally forgotten by then, but they're like, and now they're coming to me for counsel and support and coaching and all that sort of stuff. So
sure. So you're looking forward to it. So you guys have got a bunch of professionals, like obviously, because mental wellness is something that needs professional intervention. You can't just deal with it
the guys, there's nobody that does what I do in this country, right? So so I'm qualified through life experience, and I actually teach psychologists, psychiatrists, and coaches how to counsel and support survivors of abuse, right? So then we do have coaches, we do have
hold on, sorry. So I don't know what happened there with my technical guys.
No.
What is it? Oh, I heard it, and then he went like this. So I'm like, are we out of time? No, I'm like, hey. But anyway, and please do me a favor, do not cut this out, because this is a real case study of what happened. This is not not opulence. Not trying to sell opulence here. We're selling reality here.
Yeah.
How long do I have?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Let's go.
Yeah, so then we have a team that supports us, and they're all trained by me. So so we have a program that the guys work through, and we work in the addiction space as well. We've just opened a place called the Health and Wellness Centre. It's in Craigwell Park.
Sure.
And it's a very exclusive.
Why exclusive?
Recovery. We just as it worked out, the space became available, and we kind of looked at it and we thought, what are we going to do with this,
Yeah.
And we decided on an exclusive health and wellness centre for men.
Sure, I'd love to come and visit. If allowed, obviously, because I'm there obviously to help out, and let's see how we can.
So there we work with addiction. We work with because to me, trauma. The net result of trauma is just like a messed up brain. So some people turn to addiction, some people turn to anger, some people turn to gym.
Right.
Some people turn to working 14 hours a day. Some people turn to I'm just going to prove that I'm worthy. So they spend their lives chasing the dream, the gyms and the big cars and the expensive apartments and things. But it's all addiction at the end of the day.
It's a form of addiction. How you look at it. I'm looking forward to having conversations with you, and I think the empowerment summit and the many other summits that we have are great, but I think beyond those kind of events, we need to have very focused events. So I'd like us to host a mental wellness conference or a summit where we just focus on mental wellness and dissect it, because there's so much to unpack just under the topic of mental wellness.
Man,
you would I'm sure you can attest to this. You deal with different aspects of mental wellness.
Yeah,
it's not just about depression and anxiety.
Yeah,
there's a lot that's.
There's a lot underlying that, There's a lot under. I mean, if you look at the fact that the basis for your life is laid down in the first 7 years, right, of your childhood.
Yeah.
And if your parents are messed up through no fault of their own, But they just messed up because their parents were messed up, because their parents were messed up. And
Generational curses.
Generational, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and I mean that whole generational thing has been proven through the study of epigenetics. So these traumas are passed down to the children, you know, and they've actually
And
worked out to
unknowingly
the
so at
seven.
times.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, it's so scary. Joshua, I mean,
Yeah.
you're a pastor.
Yeah.
What do you preach? What do you preach about when it comes to men and the issues that we faced with on a daily basis? I mean, I'm sure you have your sessions where
Yeah.
you hold gatherings with men at church. Or what kind of conversations do you have with these men that are congregants of your church?
Yeah. I think one of the things is to remove shame.
Remove shame.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because men are hiding their pain because of shame.
Sure.
So first say, guys, I tell my story. This is my story. I messed up here. I messed up here.
And that's what you've just done with your story.
Yeah. And also, I went through depression. I nearly took my life.
Sure.
I shared that story, and I said to them, let's remove shame so that we can be able to talk about. Let's fall forward.
Sure.
Yes, man. Let's talk. And you begin to hear stories that are so crazy.
Yeah.
Stories like a person who says, when I was 13, my aunt slept with me.
Sure.
And I couldn't tell anybody about this story, and people started coming up.
And there's a lot of broken men like that
Yeah.
who raise their kids being broken like
Okay.
that.
You're right. Because you see, the space of the church is the space where I call it the theater of hypocrites.
The theater of hypocrites. Please
I
explain
agree.
that. Why are you giving him a high five?
Right.
But what am I holding when I don't understand what he's saying?
Yeah.
I will hold once I understand.
Okay.
Otherwise I'm just holding.
I'm saying the theater of hypocrites because no matter how hungry you are, when you come to the space of church, you need to put your lip eyes so that you don't
Shout
show
out to
your
that. I get it
No
now.
matter how broken
Hey,
you are.
Roberto's here.
Yeah.
Roberto, please come here. Please come here. Roberto's busy high-fiving. What come? Say something, bro.
No, you know why I agree with it? Because there's a sentiment or there's a saying that goes, the greatest sinners, or rather, the greatest sinners are found in a congregation.
Yeah.
Because everybody goes there with a certain facade, thinking, I'm here, I'm
Perfect.
I'm projecting God.
Yeah.
But then after that 1 hour sermon, they go outside and the life they're living out there is not the projection of projecting in church.
Yeah.
So that facade, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Roberto. Roberto is so passionate about it that he had to come on. You know, that's what the show's about.
And I agree.
So even if you feel pain, you don't express it.
Yeah.
Even if you feel anger because you are in the church.
You're contained.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If you have a car that is smoking, you take it to the mechanics. When you're about to get to the mechanic, then you close the smoke so that the mechanic must not see the smoke.
Right.
So you can't help that car. That's the same thing that happens in the church.
You hide the shame.
Yeah, you hide the shame, you hide your pain, you hide everything, so that you'll be known as this
Strong guy.
strong guy.
Let's put it together.
You know,
Well put.
yeah. You see, I think it's wrong to preach perfectionism.
Yeah.
We need to preach growth.
Yes.
You know, if the Bible says Jesus grew, it means there are certain things that he could not do at a particular age.
Absolutely.
He needed to grow to that level. As also in our lives as we grow, there are things, sometimes you've not grown in a particular area.
Right.
But you kind of pretend that you have it right.
Sure.
But you're struggling in that area. But you're coming in a space where you're supposed to be helped. So what I encourage men in our space, where I will say to them, first let's remove shame.
Yeah. That's so important.
Yeah, let's talk issues, let's talk where you are and begin to help each other. But also, it's important to create a safe space for men.
Yeah.
Because men, and the safe space is created by the person who will be leading the conversation.
Oh, very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
First, you need to be the first one to say, guys, that's where I am.
This is my story.
Yeah, this is my story.
My journey.
This is my struggles.
Yeah.
This is my journey.
Sure.
Then you begin to hear stories.
You know, what you're saying is very true, because we have a Telegram group,
Yeah.
an AMATYMA Telegram group, and I'd encourage you guys to join.
Wow.
We've got about 1,002, no? Somewhere there, men in that group. Those men hold different social positions.
Yeah.
We don't care for that.
Yeah.
You're a CEO, you're a CEO.
Oh, yeah.
You're a taxi driver, you're a taxi driver.
Yeah.
You are there as a man who's seeking solace from other men, and
Mentorship.
and when I started the group, no one said anything
Yeah.
until I started sharing a little bit about my story and my journey, And then from nowhere, there was a gentleman, I remember, he shared a story from prison.
Wow.
That man actually gave us a rude awakening in that group. He said, you know, you guys have got the perfect opportunity to speak your problems and share, but you're sitting there with pride. I'm sitting here behind bars and I'm waiting to learn from you guys, but you guys are just sitting. After that, men started coming up with their journeys and sharing their stories, and what we found was that the more you share, the more you learn.
Yeah.
The more you open up, and the more you realize that I'm not alone in this journey called manhood.
Yes.
Because manhood is tough, let's be honest. There's pressure on the man. You're supposed to provide. You're supposed to love. You're supposed to protect. Who's giving you all these things?
Yeah.
Who's giving you guys? You guys are the forces behind such movements of empowering men and helping men get over their abusive pasts.
Yeah.
Who's looking after you?
Yeah, yeah. You see, we're talking about issue of provision. That's one of the things we'll be talking about in the conference.
Right.
That because the society says men must provide money, or men must.
Yeah.
NDODA must.
It must.
Yeah, you know. But what if you're not working?
Yeah.
But you can still provide something. You can still provide leadership.
Yeah. Love.
A safe space.
Yeah.
Yeah, love, as you said, not the Hollywood.
No.
With the music in the background.
No,
and you kissing a person. Yeah.
Candles.
Cameras set up. No.
But the tough love.
Tough love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much needed love.
Much needed love. The love that has nothing to do with emotions.
Father's love.
Oh man.
A father's love.
A father-
Nothing beats
Man.
a father's love.
No, it's true, and I'm seeing this with my 3-year-old now, man.
Yeah.
You know what? He's like, if it was just mommy, he would be uncontrollable.
Right.
He needs
Right.
daddy there.
He needs me to guide.
I mean, you can see when mommy calls him and he must do something. He like looks around to see where daddy is, and he's got a little smile on his face because he's scheming. You know what I mean? Daddy looks
That's
at him
his
and he
compass.
goes, and all I do is hold up 1 finger, 2 finger, and he knows by 3. He doesn't know what's going to happen from daddy, but he knows something happens.
Something is coming.
You know what I mean? And then he goes. You know,
I love that.
yeah.
You see, we have a saying that says, manhood is not taught, it's caught.
Oh, manhood is not taught, it's caught.
Yeah.
So your mother will never teach you manhood.
She can't.
You need to catch it from somebody.
Yeah.
You need to see a man being a man, and you
Catch
get
it like a stray bullet.
Yeah, exactly. I always said it
That's
better.
true.
Yeah.
Catch it like
And
a
if
stray
it's
bullet.
not it's not a present father, it's a mentor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A male,
A father
positive
figure.
role
Father
model.
figure.
Yeah.
That's what it's
Male
about.
role model.
And that's what we always say is that fatherhood is not limited to biology. By no
No,
means.
no ways.
We've got a lot of biological fathers out there that are so absent, you know, and it's
62, between 62 and 68.
Yeah. Yeah.
percent.
A child I was doing a program in Johannesburg prison in 2004. So when I got there, there were like 12,000 inmates. 11,000 of those were men. Only 1,000 were women. And the guys that were in my group, 95% of them that were in my group, they were in prison because of their fathers.
I agree with that, and I can tell you why I say I agree with that. So we've got a show called AMATYMA on Parole, where we speak to men who are on parole. So they're already out, and they're serving their sentence. They're finishing up their sentence.
So, you know,
And the conversations I have with those men, one thing that's quite predominant in what caused them to go to prison was a lack of a father figure.
Yes.
Or because the father abused them to a point where they end up murdering their own father. So it's going to be an interesting conversation. I've already shot quite a few episodes of that, and it goes to your point to say that most of them go there because there's no father figure present.
yeah.
Well, I mean, the research is there internationally, you know what I mean? And we keep denying this. We keep pushing, moms can do everything. Moms are great, but they can't do everything.
They can't.
You know what I mean?
They can't.
And we see a higher rates of incarceration, dropout from school. Addiction rates are way up in family, in kids that grow up without a father. And that's boys and girls.
Yeah.
I'm not just talking boys, okay? The impact on boys more, but it's across the board. Yeah,
Man, you guys have to come back, eh?
No, definitely.
I need your numbers.
I would like to know.
They haven't told us their story.
Yo, the mental wellness one.